take a load off and grab a seat. Pull up a chair, prop up the feet, that's fine by me. Fine by me. Yeah, it's podcast time.
So yeah, man, I just talking to you over the last last month or so. Like I didn't even know that y'all are basically the only real shop left.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's been just it's really the last kind of 2 years. I don't know, last year and a half, it was all these smoke shops started popping up. I don't know who got the bright idea of what where, but literally, last year, uh, they've been open on top of. Of course, you drive down here,
Yeah.
and we've got, trying to think, one, two, three, 4, 5, 6. I think 6 on this road from the round.
Oh, I don't doubt it. I don't doubt it. I came in from 65, so I live in right outside of Nashville. And even where I live down there, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
It's like the one shop that I go to in Lebanon, Tennessee is like the one actual shop in that city pretty much. It's been there for a long time.
And that's what I'd say vape specialty store. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't want to try to bag on smoke shop guys.
Yeah.
But they got the business model, and they've had heat on and off of them over the decades for various reasons. It's low quality products, and so we try to try not to be painted as a head shop. We want people to stop smoking.
Yeah.
Like stop inhaling burning shit.
Yeah.
Into your lungs.
Yeah, I was saying it's been 8 years since I've been in the business, and it's obviously changed quite a bit. Like even me, like I still vape now, and I was a big proponent of back in the day using. We were all using boxes and everything else back then, pretty much that somebody else made, like locally, like Stringer or Perry or whoever. One of y'all guys would make one, and now I'm just using a little disposable like everybody else, pretty much.
See, it's a little pickup on the mechs and the drippers and stuff for the last year.
Really?
A little bit, yeah. We're getting more and more people coming in asking, and we'll see when this fan gets all shook out around. But it looks like we're probably going to end up in it if you really pay attention to the news, and like the shield accounts, especially on X.
Yeah.
The guys that are known, it's Republicans in this regard, but they're all against disposals. And so, but there's a lot of them just last 2 or 3 days they started posting, what's in China vapes?
Yeah.
China, they're just trying to tie in with the fentanyl, fear mongering shit that, that they're pushing around.
I was wondering that. I was wondering who was really pushing it as far as like what side was on it.
Yeah.
I mean, I assume Kentucky being such a big tobacco state, and Kentucky being also a very red state, I assume it was probably Republicans pushing it.
Well, yeah, and so that's what happened. So we're like the 20th-ish state that they put this bill, they pushed this bill through in, or tried to push it through in. Tennessee's got it. It's sitting in committee in Tennessee for this recent February, so we'll see if it starts going. But yeah, I mean, they play the same thing, the mom groups, and I'm big back on pharma are got their hand in it too. But yeah, I mean, they show up like in Kentucky. The Republicans are building a new headquarters. The Republican Party's building new headquarters. They show up, like, hey, here's $500,000 for your new headquarters or whatever, and here's a bill. We want to help kids stop vaping.
Yeah.
Right? So here's a bill for you guys to help us help the kids, right?
Yeah.
They don't even fucking read it like they never do.
Yeah.
Oh, kids, sure. And that's the same thing. Like we went up to one of the times we went up to Frankfurt, they marched a bunch of kids in there into the chamber, sitting there. Would be like, I guess it don't matter if we did trash whatever, but like sitting there booing like, oh, vaping ruined my life. Like I can't do anything. Like I can't study. I can't pay attention in class. I can't do anything because all I want to do is just sit and vape all the time. It's such
Kind of crazy.
It's such a weak fucking argument.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, like we were kind of talking earlier about how it's anything in moderation is good. But there's really no study that says nicotine is bad for you, really. I mean, it might be habit forming, but it's like a nootropic too. Like it helps you.
That's it. So if you look at like, Andrew Huberman and Brian Johnson and some of these guys, like they're using nicotine in their supplement stacks.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a great, it's great for cleaning it up,
Yeah.
help.
I mean, it's great for getting like the blood flowing and everything too, because it does like not thicken your blood.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, well, I can't even think of the word I'm trying to look for. But I mean, I've got buddies who like a big work, like they work out every day, like they're in the Air Force, and like they don't smoke, they don't vape all the time, but like whenever they go to the gym, they'll pop a Zen in or pop a
The Zans.
whatever in, and they say it helps their workout or whatever.
Well, and that's just, like all of it, it's always, you're just like, what the fuck are these guys thinking? But there's all of the conversation happening in Kentucky around this bill about vaping in general and everything related to it. There's no conversation, no one's leaning on the health aspects of it. They're not trying to be like, oh, vaping is bad for you, we don't need to do it. It's literally like, their argument is that the companies only make flavors because so they can attract kids.
Yeah.
And of course you remember when Joel got all this shit in like 2016, whatever it was, and they were literally going into high schools.
Yeah.
And like pitching them to kids, right? And there's a whole big
I guess this Joel still doesn't do any flavors, right? I don't know.
no. And
Yeah. I'll say it's just menthol and regular tobacco. I don't know what they do.
yeah, that was what happened to Joel. So they did all that. They got in trouble. They got sued. They got the shit sued out of them, and then they went bankrupt. Well, all three of bought, and now they're owned by the big tobacco guys.
Yeah.
So I've got a list. There's 34 SKUs that are legal. Actually,
That are
for
FDA
sale.
approved and they're all owned by like RJ and Philip Morris and whatnot. Yeah.
And then just tobacco and menthol. And of course, Biden right at the end there, he put a ban on menthol cigarettes. They were trying to actually ban menthol itself.
I think Trump just
Reversed it, yeah.
reversed that or something.
So,
Yeah.
which is silly. I mean, it's do it all. Like, if you're going to do it, just do it. And
Yeah.
we wouldn't have this conversation if they were just like, hey, we're banning cigarettes and everything. Banning cigarettes, vape. Well, fuck, all right. It's hard to argue with that, right? I mean, if we're just going to rip the Band-Aid off and do it as a society, I think the better choice.
Yeah.
But I'm too libertarian for that. Like, it's not your place to tell me that.
Yeah.
Ridiculous crimes are not your business.
Yeah. Like I said, like if somebody, they probably, at this point, if you're an adult, you know what smoking can do for you, or like do to you, that is. So like why, like you're an adult making a choice. So do it, type of deal.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I said back there last night. I don't know if you saw the big piece of metal that was leaned up there and all the shit.
Yeah.
And I said that back last night, grinding and sanding old paint and using, goof off on this thing, dust in the air,
Yeah.
whatever. No,
Yeah.
of course not wearing a respirator or anything. Like, you can't tell me that.
That's
The-
worse or something.
Yeah, right? Like, we're exposed to this shit, these kind of shits all the time. And
I was gonna say, that's the thing too, is like, I mean, I've been working in body shops for the last, well, I don't anymore, I stopped that about 6 or 7 months ago, but for the 5 years prior to that, I was in body shops every day and like people grinding filler away all day and like all that shit in the air, like, you can't tell me that that's not, I mean, they know it's not good for you. We know it's not good for you. So,
I don't see how anyone thinks,
so we're just gonna stop working on cars?
yeah, right. Just stop doing. I mean, that's about half our fucking home, right? Like anyone just got solved.
Yeah.
I just had this conversation with Cameron. Yeah, that's it. I just having this conversation with Cameron yesterday, but it's like, we built this first world. We built society like first world civilization. Like we have HVAC, and like we continually try to improve our society with the goal, right? Like
Yeah.
that's what we're supposed to do, and then but we let all that convenience stop us from wanting to do anything that's hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like what JFK's Apollo speech, like
Yeah.
we do the things not because they're easy, but because they're hard. And but we just don't have that. We don't have that drive, you know, like you ever seen the Shackleton ad that he put in the paper when they did when he went to sail to Antarctica or whatever?
I don't think so.
But yeah, there was this ad, and I always kind of bring this up. Get the right.
But yeah, I mean, why you bringing that up? Yeah, I mean, like it's a big thing is like just trying to, it's like turn it into a nanny state type of deal as
Yeah.
far as just wanting us to, or not wanting us, or just telling us to not do things. I mean, I guess same thing they did with prohibition for alcohol or whatever back in the day. Which we all know, like as adults, it's not good for you, but it's a fun thing to do every now and then. Like,
Yeah, so so this was an ad that he run that was running like the New York Times. But yeah, men wanted for a hazardous journey, small wages, bitter cold, long months of complete darkness, constant danger. Return doubtful, honor and recognition in event of success. You know, and so that's what when he went through that Antarctic journey or whatever, and like
Yeah.
they had Kirby Boy, like they had all kinds of people that would do it. And of course, their boat got stuck in the ice. You know, it was crushed in an iceberg, and they spent like 2 years walking around Antarctica before they finally, you know, if they both did that today, you know, would there be that kind of response? You know, and
no.
when it's
I
like,
mean, people obviously go to the military and whatnot to fight for our country and whatnot, but at the same time, like, there's also a paycheck at the end of that road too,
Yeah.
and a whole lot of benefits and et cetera. And if you put on an ad where you're not getting paid anything, really, but
Yeah.
you're gonna get to go explore.
right? Like,
People are gonna be like, "Meh."
and I don't
I
know.
mean, I got a family, I'd rather hang around, you know. But back in the day, like people were like, I mean, I've only ever seen the one city I live in. So, you know, I mean, so people were much more
Yeah.
wanting to get out there and do something.
And-
But it's very easy to go out there and explore these days. I mean, if you have, well, let's say that. I mean, I know there's a lot of people out there that can't, I guess, but at the same time, like if you have any kind of job and want to go explore, you can go explore.
Yeah.
You can go do it. Like just save up for, even if it takes you 2 years, you can go do it. You know?
Well, there's all kinds of stuff to see. I mean, even local, you know.
Yeah. Even within like an hour's drive of us, I mean, we have the biggest cave system right here. Like, I mean, it's not even that far from us here in Bowling Green. But so that was the reason that I even you reached out to me back in December. We had a guy on that actively. Did y'all still have y'all shop in Franklin? Okay, so that's where he goes. Travis Utley, and he was talking about it. I was like, and he was talking like the fan, and I was like, man, I just don't think there's any way to enforce this. Who's going to enforce it? Like, and he was like, I don't know, man. They're taking it pretty seriously. I was like, oh, I don't doubt that Vet City's taking it seriously. I just don't think that they should.
Yeah.
I think you should just like take the fine, or if somebody actually comes in and tries to fine you, like I think you've got time to shake it all out with the government and whatnot. You know, like
Yeah.
that you like y'all've got lawsuits in and whatnot
Mhm.
to fight it. So I just don't think they don't have the manpower to enforce something like that.
Yeah, so they handed it over to the ADC for enforcement,
Yeah.
which, you know, ADC, they've got, they do like monthly inspections on the places that they're, you know, that they're doing. So, yeah, and so it was tough because, and saying like, it's a hard enforcement measure, right?
Yeah.
And we were talking with the legislators, you know, trying to get it something that made sense from where it was. And at this point, they've actually sent the legislators and the legislators general counsel have actually sent a letter to the ADC commissioner, Allison Taylor, and told her to stop enforcement until we can get it amended and get it to where what they actually intended the bill to do and not, you know, what it does. But Allison Taylor is heavily anti-vape. And so, you know, and for her, her interpretation of vaping is anything that's you vaporize, period. And so she wants hemp disposables. She wants all the liquid, the juice, the hardware. She doesn't want Zen. And so she's really stretching, executive branch job, right, is interpretation and enforcement of the laws. And so her interpretation is very, very broad. And
Yeah.
the bill was already pretty vague. And so it really just gives her power
To do what
to stretch it,
Yeah.
as much as she's willing to. Depends on how many leads she wants to take, she's
Yeah.
got to fight it out in court. She's got 1 or 2 lawsuits on her now. It doesn't look like it's slowing her down. They're still knocking over a few stores a week. I didn't hear many last week actually. So, but yeah, they sent her a letter, but she's basically just said she's gonna keep doing what the.
I think it's a big weather the storm situation right now. Like you said, you kind of made some big comments early on, which I would have done too if I was still in business. But at the same time, like she's gonna be heavy nosed on it for a good bit, and then I just don't think she's gonna I can't. Well, I mean, I don't know how much she's getting paid by big tobacco and everything else. So, I mean, so it's a conspiracy, I guess. But at the same time, like if she's getting paid a bunch, maybe she'll stay on it hard for a while. But I think that she'll slow down on her crack. I mean, before I was in the vape industry, I was in the liquor store business. Like I managed 2 or 3 of the Chuck's Liquors locations here in Bowling Green, and ABC didn't. I mean, I worked for them for 4 or 5 years, and I mean, a couple times ABC came in there and tried to crack us, and so I think it's something that'll slow down greatly after the news cycle moves on from it, and the news cycle, especially in out of everything, is definitely not leaning on Kentucky news right now.
So yeah, I was just curious. 126,000 a year is actually what she makes her salary. I was seeing if she actually had
Oh, I'm sure whatever she gets from Big T.
Well, that's what I said because all that's supposed to be public. Like they're,
Yeah, it's supposed to be. But I mean, 126 grand a year, like she's got to be making something else somewhere else. I'm sure you can probably look up her net worth, and it's quite a bit more than what somebody to make 126K a year making.
and we need a Jamie. Jamie, pull it up.
But either way, so what's the last month been like for y'all?
Well, it's just we just got to keep playing it by ear. The first couple of weeks the first week especially was slow, and people didn't know, they just heard. And so like AAA, we spent the week before and the 2 weeks after just nonstop, explaining it to people. And all of this, there's so much misinformation, like I had one store owner in town tell me that the bill only affected it just meant they couldn't buy anything else. And so whatever he had on the shelf, he could continue to sell. And so he bought a year's worth of inventory.
Jesus Christ.
And it's like, that's not what the law says. And that's part of why I was so worked up about it. It's like always that people got a bunch of opinions, but they literally just have never pulled the bill up on the website and read the fucking bill.
Yeah.
Like, read the bill.
The legislators probably didn't read the bill.
They get so
Yeah.
when this all went down, of course, like we've got Jason and we've got our guys, up there paying attention to this or whatever, and we knew that it was probably coming. Started last year, and so we were on the watch for it. February, they do a little short one when it first opens in January for like a week, and then actual session opens up in February, and so. But yeah, so like February, like middle of February, he was like, no one's talking about it. Hadn't seen any talk of this bill, whatsoever. We're good. It doesn't look like. And then all of a sudden, he called us on just the start of the week, Monday or Tuesday. I think it was a Tuesday, and he was like, "Hey, they just introduced this bill, or they're going to introduce this bill to committee on Thursday to the House committee or whatever of
When was this?
like March."
Okay.
Yeah. And well, so this was like middle of February, and I think it was March is when it first went to committee. But so yeah, like we got the call first of the week, it went to committee on Thursday of that week, and we went up there. So it passed House committee on Thursday. It got bumped down to so then it went to the floor. The next Tuesday, when they were back in session again, they voted on it on the House floor and passed it. So it went to the Senate the next, like Tuesday or Thursday. It was in the Senate and passed the Senate. And then the next week after that, it was on Bashir's desk and he signed. I mean, it was just faster than we could even react. Bam, 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 and it was done.
That's crazy too that they went that quick.
$500 million.
Well, I mean, Bashir's not a Republican.
But yeah, so that was part of what we thought we were safe. It's like, oh, hey, Kentucky, deep red state, Republicans are generally personal liberty, small government.
Yeah.
We really didn't think we were going to have that big of an issue with it. And then, yeah, that happened. And so, but the way I look at that is that this is generally something that the Democrats would push,
Kids,
making people do health things, and just generally, they're generally more tied in with big pharma than the Republicans are.
True.
And that's most of the states this has been pushed through, and it's been done by Democrats. Like California and New York have been the leaders. Washington, Maryland have been the leaders on vape flavor bans for years. And I mean, that's kind of the shit into the whole deal is like the Republicans pushed it through, and of course the Democrats, they're gonna fucking take that as a bipartisan win, right?
Yeah.
Like,
We'll across the aisle type of deal.
yeah, we'll call that favor back in a few months when we got a pet project that we want to push through, and so that's
You mentioned Underwood and whatnot. He's y'all's attorney up there, right?
he's an actual lobbyist, isn't he?
Lobbyist.
Yeah.
And then y'all have attorneys working on as well.
Yeah.
Like I remember Troutman and y'all have another lobbyist too.
We got another lawyer. I can't remember what his name is though.
Oh, don't remember. Okay.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever actually met him.
I was like, like I said, I've been away from this business for 8 years or so now, and I remember, and they're all involved in KHFSA.
KSFA,
I'm sorry.
Kentucky Smoke Free Association.
Yeah. And I mean, so those guys have been in it for a long time.
Yep, it's the beginning.
Yeah, I would say it's been 8 years since I've been in the business, and I know KFSA has been a thing probably 2 or 3 years prior before I left.
I think 15 or 16, I think.
Like 15, because I left in 17, whenever I left and started my new career or whatever. But yeah, man, even like I said, it was a shock to me just earlier today when you said that there's no shops in town anymore. Like it's only smoke shops. It's smoke shops, whatever you want to call them, whatever. Because I mean, like 8 years ago, there was like E6 Horse, y'all, Sapphire, Wildcat, Remedy,
TKO.
yeah. I mean, there was several back in the day, and now it's just y'all really
Yeah, I mean,
planting the flag for everybody.
E6 Source was still, they closed the one up on Louisville Road,
Yeah.
but a few weeks ago, they still had the one there, but I've been hearing people talk that like it's closed. I need to go by there and actually check and see.
I've got to go to Franklin after I leave here, so I'm might be right there anyway, so I might swing by them.
But I've seen
So I know John Whiteside, like after I left, Brandon Jones, my assistant manager, was a regular manager for a long time, and then he left and went to Texas, I think, and then Nick Whiteside took over. Me and Whiteside, funny enough, Big Whiteside and Brandon all worked chucks together. So I stole both of them from theirs.
Brandon not too long ago. He come in here.
Really?
Yep. Yeah, it's been several weeks, but maybe 2 months.
He must have been up here visiting family or something. It was a couple months ago. I talked to him. He lives in Texas.
Oh, that's when he was moving to Texas. Is that what it was? Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think that was what. Yeah.
Okay. But I still keep Ashley that used to work for me. She lives in Louisville or something now, and yeah, she was telling me about him moving to Texas. I reached out to him after she told me he was moving to Texas. Well, but yeah, I don't think this is the end of y'all. I don't think it's the end of vapes in Kentucky either.
No, not. So the problem, and that's I don't think that, in the long run,
I don't think, you've also got RFK coming in, that I think, regardless of what you think of him, I think he's.
I don't care. We do politics too. I don't care.
Yeah.
So you're not gonna hurt my feelings.
Regardless of what you think of him, I think he thinks and knows that nicotine is not a bad thing for
Oh,
you.
yeah, he's fucking popping Zins right on his head. That's it. Lord.
Yeah. I mean, I still, I think he's out or whatever.
No, it's good.
I mean, I still mess with him. I try to whenever I'm actually recording regular podcasts. That way I'm not throwing clouds everywhere while I'm recording or whatever. But
I mean, like you said earlier, right? Like nicotine's not bad.
yeah,
I mean, or at least I won't say not bad for you, because you're gonna get the fucking actually guys. But
yeah, actually, it does raise your blood pressure
Right.
and all this. Yeah, it does. We understand, but we're adults. We should be able to make that decision for ourselves. Type of deal.
if you don't have heart problems and you don't have circulation problems, those are really the main two, where nicotine is going to have adverse effects for you. And then on the other side of it, we're talking about using it as a general nootropic.
Yeah.
There's good studies coming out around related to schizophrenia, bipolar, autism, ADHD, and they have positive benefits, measurably positive benefits for these people, related to short-term memory, focus, especially the IHDA trial, and stuff. We stims, right?
Yeah.
That's what we fucking stim all day, and that's the only way we can function through society. And yeah, I can sit around and fucking vape my fruity juice, or I can go get fucking meth from the doctor,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And
Get Adderall or any of that. Yeah.
And I'll take Vyvanse on occasion, shit, but the shit makes me vibrate for 3 days at a time.
Yeah.
And it's nice in the short term, but I don't want to do that nonstop every day. It's tiring, and then you got tolerance, and you got to continually go up, and it ends up in a whole thing.
I know I was on the Adderall portion of it, I guess.
Yeah.
It was last year sometime, I actually got Adderall from my doctor. It was really great first week. And then after that, you're like, well, I'm just going to take more of this all the time. I'm also a big fan of glasses. But at the same time, I'm like, I don't want to just continually have to up my dose every time I go to the doctor just to feel normal. So I got to find another way to feel normal. So I don't have
And that's it.
Yeah.
I just want to do shit. I just want to be and that's it. And so, I mean, there's good research, all around that. And that's, so all of the studies, I won't say all of the studies that have been done prior to 2013, whenever they had done smoking or tobacco or nicotine studies or whatever, they always used cigarettes as the control.
Yeah.
Well, and so that's fine if you're talking about cigarettes or whatever, but if you're talking about nicotine specifically, you've taken your control, right?
Yeah.
All the bad shit in cigarettes, most of it is not nicotine. It's everything else. I mean, most of it is just the fact that you're fucking setting something on fire and inhaling a bunch of carbon.
Yeah.
I mean, that's.
Yeah. And we put on top of that all the other nonsense.
And you talk about arsenic, formaldehyde, the tar, the whatever else, the fucking MAY inhibitors, and all of the stuff they put in to make them more addictive or less harsh, or whatever they do.
Yeah.
Most of the bad stuff comes from that. And that's, 2013 was the first year that someone run a good, I don't think it was a double blind, but it was a pretty good study. I think the control was around 2,000 people or something. But they actually just used nicotine.
Yeah.
And of course, that was the first one we said, hey, nicotine, unless you've got heart problems or, vascular problems, nicotine's probably fine for you.
That's why I was worried. I remember having that argument, or not argument, but people saying that to me whenever I first opened my store back in 13 or 14, whatever that was. People saying well, there's just not any studies on this. Has there been any vape studies?
Yeah, there's all kinds now.
Yeah, okay. I figured as much. I was like, well, I ain't been out long enough for anybody to study it. Yeah, I mean, now we're
20 years in almost.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2008 is what most people paint as modern day vaping when it started.
Yeah.
but yeah, and you know, of course, how fast it changed too, just because we built the industry and we learned, you know, as we went along, you know, starting from the fucking little ego cartomizers and, you know, and then we finally got, you know, Kanger Pro tanks and, you know, we already did that kind of stuff. And then the boxes and then,
Also,
Yeah.
the first thing I had was those full stick thing, you know, back in the day. And then you think my next big purchase was an MVP for kind of prototype.
Yep.
Everything's like,
yeah, running TR forever with the
Yeah.
end on it. Yep.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
But yeah, you know, and then we got, you know, that went along. We got more and more power. You know, we finally were getting where you could get, you know, 80 watts, 100 watts out of a regulated device. You know, the juice didn't really change much. You
No,
know,
it's like it never really did. I mean, like, I remember starting off at B5050,
Yeah.
B50 PG, 50
so yeah, and we definitely, you know, we shifted from that up to, you know, the
70,
30 to
Yeah.
9 10 range, depending on, you know, and then, you know, salt neck come along.
Yeah.
You know, of course, at first that was a little contentious with the salt neck, everyone figuring that out. And, you know, now we've got disposables, but, you know, the tech's got better and better. And I mean, this is, you know, I've got a 45 watt, you know, device that's this big.
Mhm.
And you know, as we built the industry, we would learn like what worked, what didn't work. And it's so much better now than it was you know, you imagine you get to start now with a disposable instead of a fucking stick battery with a cartomizer on it.
Yeah.
People running 24, 36 milligram, you know, fucking cinnamon red hot flavor to use it when you melt the tanks and stuff, you know.
Red Hots Red Hots would even fuck with the like glass tanks. Not back in the day. You're like, why is my tank disintegrating? I was like, huh?
The plastic glasses on them, and they.
Man, it's came a long ways. I mean, like I never thought I'd see the day that people weren't doing like cloud competitions and whatnot anymore. And now it's gotten to more than just a necessity. Like your necessity vaping because it's just like smoke. Not just like smoke. I mean, it's like smoking. Essentially, you do it because it's what you like.
Yeah, I mean, it's, you know, it's part fidget, you know, it's part, you know, you want some nicotine.
Yeah, the hand to mouth thing is probably always going to be a big thing for me. I was just saying, I think that was, and even while I was still running the shop, and like I went through months where I would not use one at all and just quit. But I remember all the time I was just like, I just want something to like do that with, you know, and just hand to mouth. But
Yeah, so, and that's what we, you know, it's one of the things we always tell people when they're first getting started, you know, trying to swap from cigarettes, like get something, you know, get something in your hand, because as soon as that, you know, as soon as you've got an idle hand somewhere and you're not paying attention, it's going to fish a cigarette out of somewhere.
Yeah.
You know, and most of it's just automatic.
Yeah.
You know, you're just so, I mean, same thing, like I'll wake up in the middle of the night and vape, you know.
oh yeah, if I wake up in the middle of the night and I see mine, like I'm like, all right, well, I'll take a little puff real quick.
Oh.
Then go back to sleep.
I sleep with mine. I mean, you know, I'll end up, and, you know, I'll fall asleep with it in my hand, or it'll be like, you know, I'll just tuck it right under my pillow. And, you know,
There's been several times I've been pissed off because it like fell behind my bed. I'm like, son of a bitch.
I've woke her up several times, like tossing the bedroom in the middle of the night trying to find my vape. Or yeah, it'll fall like I've got drawers under our bed,
Yeah.
and it'll fall down and manage to get like in the drawer, and of course the drawer is empty because it's where it's at or whatever, so it makes a shitload of noise when something falls in it in the middle of the night, and then I've got to like,
Yeah. I was saying, that's the three things I have next to me in my bed is like my remote for the TV, my phone, and then my vape. Like, I try to keep them all like right there next to each other. And then every now and then I'll like throw it all underneath the bed. And I'm like, mother. I was like, all right, I'm not getting up. I'm not that addicted. And I'll just go back to sleep.
yeah, I'll do it every now and then. I'll go to toss the cover off, and it'll fucking just slam into the wall and say, oh shit.
Well, man, is there any like sites or anywhere anybody needs to go see to try to fight this? Any kind of links or anywhere to look up? Anybody to hate? You already mentioned Allison, whatever.
Yeah, Allison Taylor.
Taylor.
She's the ABC commissioner, and of course, I don't think they're probably not going to pull. They're probably not going to pull enforcement duties from the ABC. I don't think that's going to be part of the amendments that go through. But yeah, I mean, reaching out to the local reps. We've got two bills in house right now, HB 63 and 65, something like that. but yeah, and so those basically one of them rewords it and makes it favorable, and then the other one basically just guts it. And so, yeah, reaching out to your local reps, our all these guys, we've got these QR codes we've got here. These are our district reps for Warren County, and a couple of them are some of the other counties too. So
We
kind
got Michael Meredith, we got Kevin Jackson. Who's another fellow? They've got one that got up here. See, Robert Duvall, I know that name, and then Sean McPherson.
Yeah, so Robert Duvall was actually one of the co-sponsors of the bill. Him and Raymer, what's her first name? Morgantown rep.
Okay.
Raymer. Those are the two. This is their bill, their baby, basically. Raymer's really her bill. She led the charge on it. But yeah, I mean, reaching out and letting them know that adults like flavors, right? Like,
Yeah.
we don't want to go back to smoking. We don't want to fucking smoke tobacco. Like, no one likes tobacco. Like, we've got 300, we did a count last year. We got like 335 flavors on the shelf, and there's maybe like 5 that are tobacco flavors.
Yeah.
And you see that pretty often, that like 95% of everything sold is something other than tobacco flavor,
Yeah.
tobacco or menthol flavor. I mean,
And y'all, and just to kind of close out, I guess, I mean, y'all are really the only local business left here.
yeah, the only like vape specialty store.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, the rest of them, the rest of them are just kind of smoke shops, and most of them are disposables. That's what they want to sell. They want to sell disposables because they're easy and convenient. They don't want to spend the time with customers. It's going to take time. I'm going to spend, 45 minutes with a customer, teaching them how to set up the device, tell them how it works, coaching them on how to effectively like stop smoking, like find something to fidget with. Like, one of the things we tell people a lot is we try not to get people on a tobacco flavor.
Yeah.
If you want to separate yourself from cigarettes and tobacco, you want to get as far away from it as possible. You don't, like, oh, tobacco, say, and just pick up a cigarette. We want to mentally, we want to completely break, your body your brain says, I want nicotine, right?
Yeah.
And
But your brain's like knows that flavor that comes with nicotine.
and that's your body responds to, Pavlovian response to, to cigarettes. You're like, oh, nicotine, cigarette, like it's immediately. But so you need to break that. You got to convince your body that you can get nicotine from other sources. No one ever craves, tomatoes when they want nicotine, even though tomatoes have nicotine in them.
Yeah.
And so, but yeah, you've got to create that habit. You've got to.
Is it still like the big flavors or like something really, really strong is what people like kind of go for whenever they're first quitting, or like what's the?
So all the disposables are 50 milligrams, 5%. I don't know, so all of them, they do make lower and like zero nic disposables, but you can't find them anywhere.
Yeah.
And so most people, especially if they're getting on disposables, right out of the gate, they're going to the highest nicotine level.
Well, no, not nicotine level, flavor wise. What do you, like the people that are just quitting, like, they still on like Red Hots, Polar Ice.
The Red Hots, that thing died. I don't know. Yeah, we hadn't had any Red Hot stuff in a long time. That finally went away. And that was mostly because, for one, those cartomizers sucked and you couldn't really get any flavor. They didn't have the nuance of flavor that new stuff has.
Yeah.
And, oh, shit, I forgot what I was going to say. But yeah.
You're good. Just but what flavor? Like, is there like a specific flavor you see people kind of like leaning on, like even just specific type of flavor, or is just people like I like blueberry, so they kind of just go blueberry.
It's really just personal preference. I mean, we do have flavors. Blue Raz is always really popular. Giant's Blood, strawberry watermelon Jolly Rancher. That's been one of our top sellers for years and years.
Almost a decade, probably.
Yeah, I mean,
I remember Giant's Blood.
And so there's a couple. We've got a really good cookie flavor, cookie butter.
Yeah.
From Vape Pink. Everyone loves that. Good seller.
I'll say it was a good seller at my shop. I love cookie butter, man.
Yeah, the rumor is that rumor going around that it's that they quit making it, and
That's wild.
it's hard to find sometimes. It's funny in and out stuff
for a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, but yeah, and so that's what we try to spend time in, like get people with a flavor that they actually like, and not just like, oh, here's the tobacco or like whatever. So
Right.
The house bills are 62 and 63.
62 and 63. Yeah.
The house bills, HP. Okay. Well, I think we've about covered it all, man. You got anything else you want to say? We can close her out.
Did I miss anything? Woody? Yeah, I mean, that was,
45 minutes, maybe even longer than that.
yeah, I mean, that's a big thing, reach out to the reps, and just let them know, and tell them their stories. And these guys, I'm sure some of them are like anti-vape, but especially in Kentucky, like these guys are Republicans, and it should be, personal choice should be pretty high on their priority list of things, right?
Yeah.
And I don't
It is a
think,
big thing. It is a big thing, like reaching out to your local reps and whatnot. Like, I'm not a big voter as far as like for the big office, I guess, but I always do for like local stuff, even in my area. Even though I'm not probably gonna stay there, but I still feel like when I should, like, put your vote in for what you believe in and like really research
Yeah.
who you're voting for. Like, don't just go red or blue. Like, it's just, like, that's just the silliest way to vote. Like, just don't do that. Don't go to the voting station and just hit all blue, like it, or all red, whatever. Just look into it. Just look into who you're voting for, because they might take your rights away one day.
yeah, I mean, and that's, no, and I try to vote, when I vote, I try to vote strategically. I think I probably generally vote more Republican on the local levels and more Democrat on the higher levels.
Yeah.
But it just depends. I mean, actually, I've been mostly kind of a third party-ish guy for the last.
Yeah,
15 years.
same. I
I
mean,
mean, the two-party system.
yeah, it's just garbage. I mean, I'd love to get like Spike Cohen or somebody
Yeah.
up in there in the office one day. That would be great, but I don't know that would ever happen. I did see he had front seat at the inauguration though.
That's cool.
So I was like, that's pretty cool. He's getting noticed a little bit, but yeah, I don't think we'll get away in our lifetime at least from the two-party system.
No, man, I was hoping that RFK. I wish he would have stuck in.
He was the shining star. If somebody was going to break us out of it in our
If he
lifetime.
didn't even have to win, if he would have run and got 10% of the vote,
Yeah.
that would have been it.
I know in the years that I was big on the Golden Party or Libertarian or whatever, we get so close every time to get into that 10% mark. I think Norrington was like one of the ones that got very, very close and just didn't happen. And I was like, man, just another, not even that many people could have voted for her, and they would have been able to get the funding and whatnot, like the red and blues get.
And that's exactly, I mean, I think we should go to like a ranked choice voting or some other system, because that's the way it's set up. It just drives us to one, when you end up counter voting just because of, the way it's laid out, we don't have any, you can't be like, oh, I really like Joe, I'm gonna vote for her. I would like to vote for her, but I can't vote for her because that'll take, a vote away from whoever you thought, whatever.
Well, yeah.
And then you get blamed either way, right? And it's,
Oh, I remember whenever I was very outspoken as a libertarian, and I don't even claim it anymore because I don't. It is what it is, but they're like, "Oh, you're the reason so and so got elected." I'm like, I mean, that, or it's the 60% of people that just didn't vote at all.
Right.
Like, we had 48% voter turnout. Yeah, you blame it on me, or you blame it on the other 52%, whatever you want to do. I don't care. Well, it is what it is. Everybody looks somewhere for a scapegoat.
yeah, everyone wants to blame someone else and not do any actual introspection,
Yeah.
and that's, I'm a progressive. I consider myself progressive.
Yeah.
But I don't really, have a place, I'm kind of, and of course you've seen this shift on the federal level where all of the kind of like, all the like the tech guys, you've got guys like Peter Thiel, and like Musk and some of these other guys, but, we just kind of got pushed out of the left because, the way that the gender ideology, the critical race theory, like whatever critical theory is pushed everyone to the left, and then you have to agree, you have to toe the party line or you get kicked out of the party. Like,
Yeah.
there's no room for any disagreement on any level. And so And that's why exactly why we've seen Musk and all these guys, all Silicon Valley's all shifted to the right now.
Yeah.
Literally because of this reason. And like, because we're generally like libertarianish, like we're socially progressive and generally fiscally conservative.
Yeah, I think it's the majority of people really don't care what you do with life. Just don't make everybody else.
Don't make it my problem.
Yeah, don't make it my problem type of deal.
And that's, that's part of, the whole, one of my issues with this is like, I don't have kids. I've never wanted kids. I haven't wanted kids since I was a kid. I knew that I never wanted kids. And I run an adult business that you have to be 21 to enter the store. But because you can't stop your kids from vaping,
It's my problem.
it's my problem now.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not your kid's parents.
Right.
Yeah.
And so that's one of the things that just kind of pissed me off about it. It's like,
Yeah.
and so,
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. I mean, I want kids one day, and I mean, if I don't want them to vape, they ain't gonna vape. I mean,
Yes. You know how many fucking cans of chew of Copenhagen I had to eat because I got caught dipping?
yeah,
You
yeah,
know?
yeah. You know how scared I was? I mean, I was a little crafty little motherfucker when I was a kid. So I would smoke cigarettes and somehow hide it. I never got caught, but at the same time, I knew if I got caught, what was going to happen if I got caught.
And
And in my smoking, whenever I was in high school, it was like a pack every 2 months or something. So it was just me being badass in front of other kids, pretty much. But yeah, I thought about it the other day. I was like, man, I guess you don't really smoke in bathrooms anymore.
they vape.
So they just vape.
Of course,
I did see a video the other day of like spy schoolers doing coke in the bathroom. And I was like, what? I was like, get out of the way.
and they're worried about vape, right?
Yeah.
Like we've got fentanyl, like we've got all this other shit going around, and like we're really attacking nicotine.
Yeah.
We don't have a lot of problems.
I mean, and it was like 3 chicks. Like somebody went over a bathroom stall and was like filming these 3 chicks, and they were, I mean, at best 15 or 16, like lining up some cocaine. And I was like, man, I can't even. Like, that's terrible. I've done some wild stuff in my life, but cocaine at 15 or 16 is not one of them.
I mean, I guess I was a good kid or something because I didn't, I mean, I do just as a whole football team, dip and stuff. And
Yeah.
I'm just kind of, that's how that's how it all starts for everyone, I think.
Yeah.
Your friend.
I played baseball for some reason. We smoked cigarettes in
Yeah.
the dugout.
Yeah, that
after
was-
games.
It seemed like that was how it was in Franklin too. Like all the football guys, they were all dippers, but all the baseball guys were smokers. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah,
I ran track too, so I was really not interested in
Yeah.
smoking at all.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah, and then I started playing music. Everybody in music smokes pretty much. Like it was a weird redneck thing to do, shooting. Like if you were in a heavy metal band, and like it was a weird thing if you were somebody shooting tobacco. So it's like I'll just smoke cigarettes on this guy's outside.
hell, I think I smoked weed like once when I was in high school, but like
Yeah,
I never even saw it around because I wasn't one of the cool kids like going out and like partying and shit all the time. But like it just didn't seem like it was a problem when I was in high school. And of course, I know there were kids that smoked
How old are
weed.
you?
I'll be 39.
So you got a couple of years on me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll be 36 this year. But so the dude I grew up with, which we're kind of going off on a tangent here, but dude I grew up with, he's my best friend growing up, and like dude started smoking weed when I was 13. Whenever we were 13, like people used to think we had were 20 and it's like that's not actually like sitting water, and like he never stops smoking weed. He's been high since he was 13, and now he lives in Portland, Oregon, and like he works for the dispensary.
There's so many people that
Yeah,
went out there when Colorado and Oregon when it opened up.
yeah,
That was a couple of guys I knew from Franklin that were, they were pot, they got farms and stuff out in the country and
Yeah.
they were growing crops and like doing the whole thing. And
I know.
thought
I
it
just
packed up.
Yeah, I just lost a really good buddy. He it was around the same time Mike moved out to Portland, but Aaron moved out to somewhere in Northern California, and he only move out there in the summer, but he can go out there just to snip,
Hmm.
yeah,
whatever.
trim, whatever, yeah. But he did that like every summer for like 200 years. And it sounded like good fun.
That's a tobacco.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah. I think it's a good idea.
Yeah, I mean, I guess no.
I was gonna say, if anybody's interested in, or seeing some of the studies they're doing on nicotine, there was a documentary released in like 2020 called You Don't Know Nicotine. And it's on IMAX right now, but they actually just went reactive on Twitter, Facebook, and they're gonna try and get a wider release on it.
Okay, so you don't know nicotine. It was a documentary. You don't look it up. You don't know nicotine. What was the one that came out that we were all like,
Million Lives.
yeah, and
Same
didn't
guy did both.
it like semi or some shit? I thought I heard some like bad stuff
There was-
about it at
Yeah,
one
there
point.
was some kind of controversy around, but I don't remember at all what it was.
But if they're still fighting the fight, sounds like they're doing a good job then.
Yeah,
This
maybe that was it.
a long time ago, but I remember hearing like they sold out to like big tobacco or
Yeah, I
something.
think it was, they got accused of crossing the line or something.
Yeah.
Crossing.
I think you should put out another one. Because A Billion Lives is a good documentary. I haven't seen it in a long time. We did a watch party for it
Yeah.
at our shop or whatever.
We went to Milwaukee to the
Yeah.
beer on it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's Aaron Beaver. He did both of those.
Beaver, that's his name.
Aaron Beaver.
Aaron Beaver. Okay.
We did both. And yeah, I just noticed a few days ago, I was like, huh, the nicotine started reposting stuff all of a sudden. And they said they were gonna try and get a wider release so that we could get it elsewhere other than IMAX because nobody's really ever heard of IMAX.
Yeah, I don't know what Avex is.
Would be a streaming platform.
Yeah, I'll look it up. I'll find it. I'll watch it myself.
But
Yeah, I mean, so I guess the last thing that I've really got is just a little kind of like rundown of just of the whole thing. But we just want personal choice, right?
Yeah.
Like none of us, like everyone that built this industry, like we were all mom and pop, right?
Mhm.
Big Tobacco was never involved in this until they bought Juul.
Yeah.
And Juul's the one that's caused a lot of our problems over the years, and ever since we started, 2016, 2018, 2020, and now like the FDA will get a bug in their ass about it, and they'll come, and there'll be some round regulations and stuff, and like we've complied. Everyone's complied as we've gone along. The PMTA process, these guys have spent millions and millions of dollars to get their use run through the PMTA process to be legit. It was something like 1,100 lawyer hours to fill out the forms, the PMTA applications, and you had to do that like per flavor.
Yeah.
And so these
I remember that even being a thing 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
they
that
were trying to make everybody do that. It was like, there's just nobody has the money to do that.
And so, no, that was 2018, and of course, like we rallied as an industry and we had people that were helping offload the grunt work and we're building templates for smaller shops and stuff to do. And that's all, and that's what this industry's been. It's been, mom and pop shop, families that have started this and actually built businesses, built successful businesses over the years to help people stop smoking.
Yeah.
None of the stores, like, we don't fucking carry Galaxy gas. Like, we don't carry like all of the dumb shit. There's not a rose in here. There's not a light bulb in this store to be bought. Like, none of that. We carry some CBD.
I think Rose is.
It's what the damn, I think it's what the meth heads use.
Oh,
But it's like a little tube that comes with a rose in it. But they actually just throw the rose away and use the tube.
okay.
And that's all we've wanted to do is comply. And that's what we've done. We've just complied and then with the PMTAs and, now where we're at now where they're trying to do these flavor bans based on, kids, kids vaping or whatever, try to get the kid vaping epidemic under control.
Yeah.
But like vaping rates have dropped, since 2012. Like we saw a little spike right around 16 when Joel was doing their shit. But like it's dropped. Smoking rates have dropped. Where there's less people vaping now than there were ever smokers. And that's all we're trying to do. Like we're all kind of run legit businesses. We're 21 and up stores.
Yeah.
Legal is 21 and up stores. Ban disposables if you got to do it, which would that would suffer personal choice because I mean, one, they're convenient, and they're for people that are just trying to get started. Like they're super effective and easy for people to get going on.
Yeah.
And you know, to take away that personal choice, and it's just bullshit.
Yeah.
And that's all this always been. We just want to run our businesses, and we want to give people healthy lives. You know, we've had, you know, 10 years, 10, 11 years now we've been doing this. You know, we've helped thousands of people stop smoking. Tens of thousands of people probably stop smoking. You know, and you look at that, and you look at how many people die from smoking related illnesses every year. We literally added tens, if not hundreds of thousands of years to people's lives.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You know, and like there's absolutely a measurable effect there, and we just keep getting blamed for everything. You know, when the Ebola shit happened back right before COVID, you know, everyone was dying from pneumonia-like symptoms or whatever. You know, we got blamed for all of that, vaping, because they can't tell the difference between nicotine vaping and THC carts.
Yeah.
You know, and then it come out, there was a company, they were putting vitamin E acetate in, you know, cutting their THC carts on the black market to make them look thicker and look better, more presentable, you know, make their low quality product look like a better product. We got blamed for all of that, and that story's still not clear. But, you know, if you talk to local doctors, you just talk to people that actually smoked for years and started vaping and ask them how much better they feel. You know, they don't get winded going upstairs. They can taste food and shit again that they didn't even realize they could taste before. Realize, you know, and then all the little things like how bad you smell, ruining the paint in your house, you know, and all the stuff.
I mean, I remember, not to cut you off, but I mean, I remember whenever I was around the shop, I had this older fella come in that he like literally like left his doctor, had an x-ray with him of his lungs. He was like, I need my lungs to not look like this anymore. And like he started vaping that day. And he came back like, I don't know, it was like 2 or 3 months later and had another x-ray, and it was just like it looked like he had never smoked, pretty much.
And
as far as an x-ray goes.
No, and you're right on. That's exactly what I'm talking about. You know, we have heart and lung doctors in town that send people to us to get them off smoking.
Yeah.
You know, when people are going into surgery, we have surgeons that send people to us because they want you to stop smoking before surgery. We'll have surgeons that tell them to just stop smoking, that they can vape. And of course, some of them will tell them that they need to be on zero nic, so they'll come in and we'll get, you know, a zero nic setup or whatever. But,
Yeah.
You know, we've got, you know, of course, it's just anecdotal evidence, like whatever, it's not scientific, but, you know, it
Seems to make sense, though.
yeah, I mean, it makes sense. And if you tell me, you know, if you're like, hey, you know, you can stop smoking and start vaping, and maybe you'll have long-term effects, but the quality of life up until that point is going to be better and objectively better, not like some vague like better, like literally, like you can walk, you can go play with your kids, you can go hiking, like you can do stuff that you couldn't do, you know, or couldn't do as easy as a smoker. I'd fucking take that deal all day.
Yeah.
You know, because you're gonna lose the years on the end anyways if you're smoking, and your quality of life is gonna continue to deteriorate all the way up until you finally die from it.
Yeah.
You know, and that's it. You know, we need to be having these conversations, and it just you know, it gets politicized. It just gets turned.
Politicized is a big thing. I think that's what's going on. That's the only reason that any of this is even on the table or happening, is there's money involved with it and whatnot. I mean, you could even say the same thing about marijuana.
Yep.
And like that, you know, you just try to figure out a way to tax it better. Tax it better.
Kentucky's got a 15% tax on it, has since 2020.
Yeah.
You know, and that's like they're getting their money and then they're trying to ban it. And yeah, I mean, you lead a better life. You know, it's better. We can argue you know, I don't want to argue and tell anyone that it's healthy. We never tell anyone that's healthy. We don't even like to tell you that it's, we try to just try not to talk about that, just because there's not long-term studies. I mean, not really long-term studies. I mean, we're 20 years in at this point. So like we've got that's reasonably long-term studies, and there's, you know, tens of hundreds of millions of vapors around the world.
Mm-hmm.
And you know,
you got people like me and you have been doing it for 15 plus years at this point.
Yeah.
And I haven't never had any side. I mean, I go to the doctor once a year, and I got no
Same.
problems. I ain't got no problems with my lungs or anything like that, though. So
And same with the story you told. We get people coming in all the time with the story like, hey, I told my doctor that I vaped, and they looked at my lung scan and were like, shit. Well, if you didn't tell me, I would have never known that you did anything. Your lungs look great. And we've got the UK World College of Physicians. It's been for a long time. They've been a supporter of vaping. They say 95%, but it's 95% safer than smoking.
yeah,
They literally have vape stores in their hospitals over there where you can go, and all around the world it's like that. Everyone's all the countries that are reasonable are embracing vaping as a healthier alternative. The countries that aren't, India, Brazil, us, China, they're all countries where big tobacco is tied heavily into the government.
Yeah.
Their tobacco companies are tied heavily into the government. And, and even big organizations worldwide, the WHO is against us.
Mhm.
And I think the American Lung Association is against us. But all the Heart Association, the cardiologists, doctor groups, they all support it. And the only people that aren't doing it are people that have their money tied in it, And of course we've got the master settlement agreement, which is a whole, back, and that's a whole other thing. That's kind of what started all of this, is really the crux of the whole issue. But I mean, that's no one wants kids to vape.
No, I don't think that's nobody's goal, especially running a shop,
No.
especially a legitimate shop. Nobody wants it. And you go into I mean, if the vapes weren't a thing, people were smoking cigarettes whenever they were in high school before vapes existed. So, I mean, they were gonna, if they wanted to do it, they were gonna do
They're
it.
gonna find a way. And I tell people, I get ads on Snapchat and Instagram, people in town that are selling disposables.
Oh, that's wild.
Yeah, where some dude's literally buying ads and and just selling them out of his trunk or whatever. And
That's crazy.
the kids are always gonna find a way. They're cat and mouse game, and the kids are always more agile than the adults are.
Yeah.
They pass little tips and tricks along to each other way faster than adults can keep track of what the hell's going on.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the way it's always been. You knew the ghetto gas station, that done ID, when you were in high school. You had a brother that, a friend, a friend's brother that would go buy them for you. He'd go buy a carton of cigarettes and, sell, sell them to everyone and make it. And so it's just like always, prohibition has never worked.
Yeah.
It didn't work. It didn't work in the 1800s with the temperance movement. It didn't work in the 20s with prohibition.
Yeah.
It's never, ever worked. And while we keep trying, and we always get the same results, and it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah. All it does is close businesses for a little bit. It ruins people's lives for a few years, and then.
So it's actually what I was going to say earlier that what forgot. So they passed this bill in Alabama a few years ago, the same bill flavor ban that they put through here. So they passed it in Alabama, and everyone, all the legitimate vape stores, all the vape specialty stores and stuff complied. They removed the non-approved product off their shelves, and they fought it until they all finally went out of business.
Hmm.
Well, there was never any enforcement in Alabama. So now if you go down to Alabama, it's just LED smoke shops.
Yeah.
And if you'd rather have that in your community than a store like us, well, then I don't know what's happening.
Yeah.
You've got things skewed. You've got it all twisted in your head, and that's it. We're in those stores like we wanna, and that's what we want to stay. And honestly, that's punish the bad actors.
Yeah.
If the gas station gets caught, strip their tobacco license from them for a year. Or drop it.
Yeah, it hurts.
Yeah.
Make them to where they can't smoke or can't sell cigarettes or anything.
Yeah. And it would stop real quick, and we just get half-ass implementation and stuff. And so you scare off, Sam Freeman, Remedy here, he's been around for years. Sam's a great guy, and of course he was on his, as soon as the ban placed as soon as it passed, he was like, all right, well, we're not.
Yeah.
He went. And there's a lot of stores that, we do wholesale. A lot of my customers over there, about September, they just started closing their doors up and stepping out and
That's so sad. I even saw, I did better get out of here, now, to be honest. But, I saw Josh Levine
Mhm.
in Scottsville, and he like posted a bunch of pictures of his shop, just empty shelves.
Yep.
Like he just, I was like, man, that's. I know he wasn't around as long as most of us, but I mean, he was in
He's been around for a long
Scottsville.
time, yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, that's just sad.
Yep.
Just somebody having to close their doors
Yep.
because of
Well, and like,
something
yeah,
like this.
and what am I, what am I supposed to do? I've been doing this for, been, 12 years about coming on total. We've been doing this. Like, I'm just supposed to go get a job somewhere.
Yeah.
Well, I've got a fucking 12-year gap in my resume.
Yeah.
And this job market
Yeah.
is ridiculous. And so,
I mean, even me going to my new job where I'm at, they don't even, I can tell them all day that I ran a bunch of small businesses for a decade prior before.
Yep.
And they was like, oh, we don't care.
So,
we don't care.
and so, yeah, I'm being pushed from, a family business that we built, where we could support 15 employees and their families, to where I'm going to have to go. I guess I can go get a job at Panera Bread making $70,000 a year, I guess, or,
Yeah.
go make $15-18 at McDonald's or something like some shit. But, that's all they're doing. And here we are, Kentucky. I won't say worst state in the country. I don't think it's worst state, but like, you pull up any health, education,
Yeah.
income, anything, we're hanging out with West Virginia, Mississippi, and Louisiana down on the bottom of all the list.
Alabama.
Obesity, cardiovascular health, like all of these things. And this is a legitimate option to save,
So we
thousands.
people's lives
Yeah, I
and
mean,
everything else.
yeah. This is something, I don't know what the smoking rate in Kentucky is, but I'm going to guess it's pretty, it's going to be a significant portion of the population.
I know. I was trying to look up stuff earlier today, just on rates and whatnot. They said it was over 10% of the population that vapes. So I can only imagine what the smoking rate is. I mean, I don't really go out and about a great deal these days, but I mean, I still see smokers
Yeah.
more so than I see vapors in Tennessee at least.
So 2020, 23.4% of Kentucky smoked. We're the fourth highest state in the country. And so like legitimate health benefits that we could have. I mean, it would save our communities and our state tons of money, in health related costs, ER costs, medical debt costs, like all of these things. And we're just not, we just want common sense decisions, common sense and not what it is. And they're on board now. We've sat down with their legislators and general counsel, like we've more or less got it worked out, but it's all they had to do was literally listen to us from the start when we tried to tell them this. And of course, and then in the middle of, we tried to have that conversation all year, and we filed a lawsuit, or, we filed a suit in like August or September to put a stay on it. Well, the judge set on the bill all the way up until the second week of December, right before session closed, and then he not canceled it. He dismissed it.
Yeah.
But he did it so close to the end that we didn't even have a chance to file an appeal before session closed for the year. And of course, it went into effect start of the year.
Yeah.
And so they political games, and it shouldn't be like that. It's there's no reason.
Well, I hate to cut you off.
No,
You
you're
get me out here, man.
Yep.
I appreciate your time, brother.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you coming in. And
Man, I do miss talking to you, so I'll keep up with you.
West Coast, yes, yes, one leg.